Good evening and thank you for joining us for Creme 2 News at 6 tonight. I'm Mark Hanrahan.
It's good to have you here. I'm Whitney Ward. The future of Spokane's South Hill Dog Park taking a dramatic turn this week as the former park is now being shut down to make room for a new middle school.
Meanwhile, a temporary replacement park is set to open tomorrow as the park's long-term future continues to be a point of discussion for Spokane. Creme 2's Joshua Robinson is live at the park tonight with more. Joshua?
Mark, Whitney, a lot of people have been coming up to this site not knowing that the park was shut down, feeling kind of surprised, not just at the fact that it was shut down, but also taking a look at the size of the new location, which does feel kind of shocking compared to the old site size if you haven't been here yet. Of course, this was a site that wasn't initially supposed to be a dog park at all when it was first opened up, but for a site that wasn't supposed to be that way, there sure has been a fight put up over the past few months, a fight that has taken a big shift this week.
High five. Okay, good boy. Do your bear. Do your bear. There you go.
Spokane has its fair share of surprising and unexpected stories in its South Hill Dog Park history.
We had a little stump challenge a couple of years ago, and that whoever won a little pooper scooper. So, and you'd be surprised, we had probably, I don't know, maybe about 200 dogs getting up on that stump and posing.
But Daniel Ward, a representative with the park itself, is already looking toward the future just across the fence.
When it comes down to it, we might be able to, at some point in working with Spokane parks and all that stuff, we'll be able to get a water feature.
The future is full of both potential and question marks, as the current South Hill Dog Park has been shut down for the past 4 days, while the city begins work toward construction on its newest middle school. A temporary replacement is set to open on Friday, and Ward says all of the volunteers who have helped keep the dog park going are now focused on making the best of what has been a contentious situation.
Celebrate the reopening. We're commiserating over the loss of the 15-acre, but at least we have a little over 5 acres now with this one.
And as the future home of the dog park remains up for discussion, Ward says he is hopeful a true partnership can be found between the park representatives and the city.
All the dogs that we do have in Spokane and do things of that nature, and working collaboratively to actually make a great future for Spokane and the dog park.
And when we talk about that potential new future site, we do have a couple of timeline dates. There's a scheduled spring of 2022 deadline for when the new idea is expected to be planned for the permanent new spot of the No Leash Dog Park here in Spokane. And this spot behind me will be closed starting this week, but the temporary site will be opened through spring of the following year, 2023. Of course, Creme 2 will keep you updated on all of those dates. But for now, from the South Hill, Joshua Robinson, Creme 2 News.
All right, Joshua, thank you very much. Also tonight, we are learning more about a first-of-its-kind clinical trial taking place right here in Spokane. Doctors with MultiCare are looking for volunteers to get a Moderna booster and either a flu shot or a shingles shot.
Researchers want to learn more about how the vaccines work together. I had the chance to talk with the doctor running the trial earlier today. Talk to me about this study or this trial rather, and what you guys are hoping to learn from it.
Sure. This trial is looking at administering a booster of the Moderna COVID vaccine plus either a flu vaccine in one group or plus a shingles vaccine in the other group. This study looks at both, is there any effect on the immune response with these vaccines, giving them together? And is there any effect on any adverse events or side effects when they're given together? In this case, I think it helps just engender trust with the public that, co-administering these vaccines together is a safe thing to do, that based on the immune system, they work well together.
Obviously, we read about trials where some participants in the trial are given the actual vaccine and some are given a placebo. Is that the case for this trial as well?
No, this is an open label trial where the patients will know what they're getting. So they're definitely going to get a Moderna booster, and they'll know whether they got the flu or the shingles vaccine based on what group they're in.
The Moderna booster, is it the same dosage, so to speak, as the first 2 shots?
Yeah, that's an interesting question too. Right now, this study will be looking at the 50 microgram dose. The 2 earlier ones are 100 microgram. The 50 microgram dose is the one that's recommended in the UK. There's still ongoing work to do as far as what the final recommendations will be on that dose. It looks like the 50 microgram dose provides good boost in immunity and also has a good side effect balance.
So if you're interested in volunteering for that trial, you can just text us the word trial to 509-448-2000 and we'll send that link directly to your phone.
Spokane Public Schools also making progress working through the governor's vaccine mandate. So far, only 3 staff members have resigned from the district as a direct result of the mandate. A total of 466 staff members have filed for exemptions. Human Resources has been meeting with each person individually who filed for an exemption. So far, we're told they have processed most of those requests and have been able to find accommodations, which range from additional PPE like an N95 mask or even reassignments elsewhere in the district. We are also learning more tonight about a lawsuit filed by nearly 20 state workers against Governor Jay Inslee, the city of Spokane, and several other state agencies. They're suing over that vaccine mandate.
Most of the people filing suit live right here in Spokane County, and they claim the mandate violates their contract between workers and the state. KREM 2's Amanda Rowley joining us here in the studio tonight, sharing what they hope comes from this lawsuit. Amanda?
Yeah, Mark and Whitney, 12 plaintiffs listed in the lawsuit live right here in Spokane County. They are Spokane City firefighters, employees of the Washington Department of Transportation, State Patrol, and Department of Social and Health Services. Now, they all share a similar experience with the vaccination mandate. Their exemption requests have been approved, but they say their employers are not making appropriate accommodations. The defendants listed in the lawsuit include Washington State Governor Jay Inslee, the city of Spokane, and Spokane Fire Chief Brian Schaefer. Grant Wolf is one of the 2 lawyers representing the workers who filed the suit.
You'll notice in the complaint that a couple of the issues that we raised are a lack of due process.
The lawsuit claims Governor Inslee's COVID-19 vaccination mandate violates the contract between workers and the state. It cites the workers' exemption requests were accepted, but their employer provided no accommodation or reassignment.
In a lot of cases, the employers said that we can't reasonably accommodate you in your current position. You can apply for a reassignment to a new one. And in cases such as that, many times our clients found that there were no available positions.
Are your clients at risk ultimately of losing their jobs?
Absolutely. Many have been given notices of intent to terminate already. This is not a hypothetical. These are people's lives.
What would you say is the hopeful outcome of this lawsuit?
18 months ago, my clients were told they were essential workers. They were people who were putting their lives on the line, going out before we really had any information about this virus. They were told that they were essential, and in 2 weeks, they're about to be discarded from that same position. And the goal is to prevent that from happening.
Now, the defense lawyer expects more plaintiffs will be added to the complaint. He says they will come from across the state rather than just right here in Spokane County. Amanda Rowley, KREM 2 News.
All right, Amanda, thank you very much. And given this lawsuit and many like it all across the country, we also wanted to look into whether the vaccine mandates are working or if a large number of healthcare workers are leaving their jobs instead. So Providence of Southwest Washington and Oregon employs about 23,000 people. The company says before vaccine mandates were put into place, about 80% of the workforce was vaccinated. That number, though, jumped to 90% after the mandates were then put into place.
And at Kaiser Permanente, before the Oregon vaccine mandate, about 79% of its 11,000 employees were vaccinated, but that number jumped up another 10% after mandates were put in place. That was a lot of information, and we want to make sure that you're getting the most up-to-date information. So just text us the word COVID to 509-448-2000, and we'll send you the very latest directly to your phone. All right, let's take a quick break from the headlines to talk weather. A chilly morning out there, even though, it ended up being a pretty nice day, right?
Really beautiful, but as Tom has always been saying, once that sun goes down, this is the time of year where it really gets cold really, really quickly. Tom, is it getting chilly out there right now?
It is getting a little chilly out here. Thanks goodness the wind is not blowing. We're just a couple of minutes now away from the actual sunset time, and right now you can see we're at 55 degrees. Look at that beautiful shot of Lake Coeur d'Alene, though. Absolutely gorgeous. And when we talk about the winds, out of the south at 3 miles per hour. Again, not much in the wind department. We're looking at clear skies when you check out the satellite and radar picture. Day planner forecast calling for a colder night tonight than what we saw this morning. This morning we dropped down to 37 degrees officially, and still we saw frost. Well, I think we'll get down to 33 tonight. So looking for widespread frost in some areas outside of the Spokane region. Most likely will drop down below freezing. Sunshine tomorrow, though, on your Friday, a daytime high of 62. For the weekend, more sunshine after a very cold, frosty morning again, and we'll look for a high of 60. And then we've got rain and wind on the way for Sunday with daytime highs only in the mid-50s. I'll check out that 10-day forecast for you coming up in a couple of minutes.
Looking forward to that, Tom. Thank you very much. And still to come tonight, the Senate has advanced a short-term debt ceiling fix. We are verifying if the government will still be able to pay its bills, including your Social Security payments, next.
Plus, a little later, you may not recognize the name Jerry Quinn, but he is the one we all have to thank for saving an iconic piece of Spokane history. More on him later in our show.